All right, chapter 25. A formation having the shape of a dirigible. It was reported from Huntington, West Virginia, luminous object that was seen July 19th, 1916 at 11 p.m., observed through rather powerful field glasses. It looked to be about 2 degrees long and half a degree wide. It gradually dimmed, disappeared, reappeared, and then faded out of sight. Another person, as we say, it would be too inconvenient to hold to our intermediatist recognitions. Another person who observed this phenomenon suggests to the writer of the account that the object was a dirigible, but the writer says that faint stars could be seen behind it. This would seem really to oppose our notion of a dirigible visitor to this earth, except for the inconclusiveness of all things in a mode of seeing that is not final. Or we suggest that behind some parts of the object, thing, construction, faint stars were seen. We find a slight discussion here. Professor H.M. Russell thinks that the phenomenon was a detached cloud of aurora borealis. Upon page 369 of this volume of the Scientific American, another correlator suggests that it was a light from a blast furnace. Disregarding that, if there be blast furnaces in or near Huntington, their reflections would be commonplaces there. We now have several observations upon cylindrical-shaped bodies that have appeared in this Earth's atmosphere, cylindrical but pointed at both ends, or torpedo-shaped. Some of the accounts are not very detailed, but out of the bits of description, my own acceptance is that the supergeographical routes are traversed by torpedo-shaped superconstructions that have occasionally visited, or that have occasionally been driven into this Earth's atmosphere. From data, the acceptance is that upon entering this Earth's atmosphere, these vessels have been seen so racked that they had not sailed away. Disintegration would have occurred that before leaving this earth they have, whether in attempted communication or not, or in mere wantonness or not, dropped objects which did almost immediately violently disintegrate or explode. Upon general principles, we think that explosives have not been purposely dropped, but that parts have been racked off and have fallen, exploding like things called ball lightning. May have been objects of stone or metal with inscriptions upon them, for all we know at present. In all instances, estimates of dimensions are valueless, but ratios of dimensions are more acceptable. A thing said to have been 6 feet long may have been 600 feet long, but shape is not so subject to the illusions of distance. Nature, 40-415. That August 5th, 1889, during a violent storm, an object that looked to be about 15 inches long and 5 inches wide fell rather slowly at East Twickenham, England. It exploded. No substance from it was found. L'Année Scientifique, 1864-54. That October 10th, 1864, M. Leverrier had sent to the Academy 3 letters from witnesses of a long luminous body tapering at both ends and had been seen in the sky. In Thunder and Lightning, page 87, Flammarion says that on August 20th, 1880, during a rather violent storm, M.A. Trécul of the French Academy saw a very brilliant yellowish-white body, apparently 35 to 40 centimeters long and about 25 centimeters wide, torpedo-shaped, or a cylindrical body. With slightly conical ends, it dropped something and disappeared in the clouds. Whatever it may have been that was dropped, it fell vertically like a heavy object and left a luminous train. The scene of this occurrence may have been far from the observer. No sound was heard. For M. Trécul's account, see Comtesse Rende, 103-849. Monthly Weather Review, 1907-310. That July 2nd, 1907, in the town of Burlington, Vermont, a terrific explosion had been heard throughout the city. A ball of light or a luminous object had been seen to fall from the sky, or from a torpedo-shaped thing or construction in the sky. No one had seen this thing that had exploded fall from a larger body that was in the sky, but if we accept that at the the same time, there was a larger body in the sky. My own acceptance is that a dirigible in the sky, or a construction that showed every sign of disrupting, had barely time to drop whatever it did drop and to speed away to safety above. The following story is told in the review by Bishop John S. MacLeod. I was standing on the corner of Church and College Streets just in front of the Howard Bank and facing east, engaged in conversation with ex-Governor Woodbury and Mr. A.A. Buell, when, without the slightest indication or warning, we were startled by what sounded like the most unusual and terrific explosion, evidently very nearby. Raising my eyes and looking eastward along College Street, I observed a torpedo-shaped body some 300 feet away, stationary in appearance and suspended in the air about 50 feet above the tops of the buildings. In size, it was about 6 feet long by 8 inches in diameter, the shell or covering having a dark appearance with here and there tongues of fire issuing from spots on the surface, resembling red-hot, unburnished copper. Although stationary when first noticed, this object soon began to move rather slowly and disappeared over Dolan Brothers' store southward. As it moved, the covering seemed rupturing in places, and through these the intensely red flames issued. Bishop MacLeod attempts to correlate it with meteorological observations. Because of the nearby view, this is perhaps the most remarkable of the new correlates, but the correlate now coming is extraordinary because of the great number of recorded observations upon it. My own acceptance is that upon November 17, 1882, a vast dirigible crossed England, but by the indefiniteness of all things quasi-real, some observations upon it can be correlated with anything one pleases. E.W. Maunder, invited by the editors of the observatory to write some reminiscences for the 500th number of their magazine, gives one that he says stands out. It is upon something that he terms a strange celestial visitor. Maunder was at the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, November 17, 1882, at night. There was an aurora, without features of special interest. In the midst of the aurora, a great circular disk of greenish light appeared and moved smoothly across the sky, but the circularity was evidently the effect of foreshortening. The thing passed above the moon and was by other observers described as cigar-shaped, like a torpedo, a spindle, a shuttle. The idea of foreshortening is not mine. Maunder says this. He says, had the incident occurred a third of a century later, beyond doubt, everyone would have selected the same simile. It would have been just like a zeppelin. The duration was about 2 minutes. Colors said to have been the same as that of the auroral glow in the north. Nevertheless, Maunder says that this thing had no relation to the auroral phenomena. It appeared to be a definite body, motion too fast for a cloud, but nothing could be more unlike the rush of a meteor. In the Philosophical Magazine 5-15-318, J.L. Capron, in a lengthy paper, alludes throughout to this phenomena as an auroral beam, but he lists many observations upon its torpedo shape and one observation upon a dark nucleus in it. Host of most confusing observations, estimates of height between 40 and 200 miles, observations in Holland and Belgium. We are told that according to Capron's spectroscopic observations, the phenomenon was nothing but a beam of auroral light. In the Observatory 6-192, in Maunder's contemporaneous account, he gives apparent approximate length and breadth of 27 degrees and 3 degrees and a half. He gives another observation seeming to indicate structure. Remarkable dark markings down the center. In Nature 27-84, Capron says that because of the moonlighting, he had been able to do a little with the spectroscope. Color white, but aurora rosy. Bright stars seen through it, but not at the zenith where it looked opaque. This is the only assertion of transparency, too slow for a meteor but too fast for a cloud. Surface had a mottled appearance, very definite in form like a torpedo, probably a meteoric object. Technical demonstration by Dr. Gronman that it was a cloud of meteoric matter. See Nature 27-315, 338, 365, 388, 412, and 434. Very little doubt it was an electric phenomenon. In the London Times, November 20th, 1882, the editor says that he had received a great number of letters upon this phenomenon. He publishes two. One correspondent describes it as well-defined and shaped like a fish, extraordinary and alarming. The other correspondent writes of it as a most magnificent luminous mass shaped somewhat like a torpedo.